All right, good morning, everyone. How are you doing?
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, ma'am.
I'm doing fine.
Fine.
Morning, ma'am.
Okay.
Hey, ma'am.
Right, great to hear that all of you are fine. So thank you for joining the class. Yeah, I was thinking to only send you the recording, but the material for today is a little bit challenging and complicated because there are so many terms that you need to learn, and I want to be able to explain it to you directly. And I want to also give you the chance to ask directly, all right? So that's why I make this synchronous class. All right, so without further ado, we shall just start. I will start with a question. So we look at phonetics last week, and I asked you to read the PowerPoint as well as listen to my explanation and work on a study sheet. What about it? Do you have any questions? Ada pertanyaan nggak? Apa yang masih perlu diketahui tentang phonetics? Karena ini hampir mirip ya, jadi konsepnya itu beda, tapi dua-duanya sama-sama looking at sounds. Yang pertama phonetics ya, kemudian yang ini adalah phonology. So before we move on to phonology, do you have any questions? Yes, not yet. Did you say yes or not yet?
Yes.
Not
Okay. Okay, right. So now we go to phonology, yeah? What is phonology? Phonology is the description of the systems and patterns of speech sounds in language. So when we're dealing with phonology, we're dealing with the systems as well as with the patterns of the speech sounds. You can compare it with what you're looking at in phonetics. In phonetics, you look at the production. Yeah, so phonetics deals with the acoustic, with the perception of the sounds, but in phonology, you are looking at the systems. Well, they are related for sure, but there are some differences. Yeah. So now we go to here, the next explanation. Based on a theory of what every adult speaker of a language unconsciously knows about the sound patterns of that language. Jadi siapa yang menentukan bahwa suara-suara ini punya pattern, punya sistem gitu ya? Tentunya ini berasal dari native speaker dari bahasa itu. Okay, so as a native speaker of that language, you have the capacity to determine the systems and the patterns of sounds. Okay. So native speakers, yeah, they are very, very important in the study of phonology. Okay, now next one. So that's why we say that phonology is concerned with the abstract or the mental aspect of sounds in language rather than with the actual physical articulation. Yeah? So dealing with physical or actual articulation, this one is phonetics, yeah. But when you already talk about system within the sound production, so it will be the area of phonology. All right, so now we can talk about phonemes. Yeah, phonemes are meaning distinguishing sounds in a language. Actually, you have already looked at phonemes when you look at IPA chart. Yeah, last week you did this. I asked you to look at IPA chart, right? And you see a chart that is containing different consonants, right? B, B, T, D. Nah, bunyi-bunyi ini mereka semua punya apa ya? Punya arti yang berbeda. Ya, so P, B, T, D. All of this meaning distinguishing sounds are called phonemes, and they are different from alphabetic writing. Yeah, so for example, we have black here. Yeah, it's written this way with alphabets. So in terms of alphabets, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 different items. Yeah, but in terms of phonemes, you need to distinguish it with the sounds that you make. So we transcribe it. This is black. So the sound a is written this way, and then ended with k, black. So we can say that 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there are 4 phonemes in this word. Okay, because we are not talking about alphabets, we are now talking about phonemes, and phonemes are meaning distinguishing sounds. Okay, and you can read further here. We are actually using the concept of the phoneme as the single stable sound type that is represented by a single written symbol. Ya, simbol-simbol IPA itu maksudnya. It is in the sense that the phoneme T is described as a sound type of which all the different spoken versions of T are tokens. Ya, jadi ini nanti akan ada penjelasannya ya, kenapa yang satunya memakai slash dan yang satunya memakai square brackets. Now, yeah, maybe I have to explain it here. So note that slash marks are conventionally used to indicate a phoneme, abstract segment, and then the is used for phonetic or physically produced segment. Ya, jadi harus hati-hati karena ketika kita menggunakan garis miring, ini kita sedang membicarakan stable sound. Jadi sound yang kita anggap sebagai standarnya, intinya gitu ya. Dan itu masuk ranah phonology. Jadi kita pakai slash mark, tapi nanti ketika kita bicara tentang production of the sound, you use square brackets. Makanya tadi ketika saya transcribing black, I chose to use this square brackets. Yeah. We will see later here after I explain about natural classes. So natural classes are something like what you look at the IPA chart. Yeah, so you distinguish the sounds based on whether the sound is voiced or voiceless, and based on their place of articulation and also manner of articulation. So when you want to explain the natural classes of P, you say that P is minus voice, meaning that it is voiceless, and it's plus bilabial. So this is the place, ya. Bilabial itu di antara dua bibir. Yeah, so that's how you know that the sound is bilabial, because when you produce it, you place it by moving or putting both lips together. So that's why it is called plus bilabial. And this row points at the manner. Yeah, so plus stop, because it is stop. Stop itu biasanya di beberapa textbook juga disebut sebagai plosive. Jadi sama ya. Stop and plosive. Ada letupan, gitu. So This is how you define the natural classes of the sound. Okay, now we go to this concept phones and allophones. Ya, ini kaitannya dengan slash and square brackets tadi ya. Jadi phones itu adalah versions of phoneme. Jadi kita tahu bahwa fonem itu adalah misalnya p, t, b, d, g, dan sebagainya. Nah, mereka punya berbagai versions ternyata ketika mereka diucapkan dalam berbagai kata, dalam berbagai situasi gitu ya. Mereka punya berbagai versi. Nah, versi-versi ini adalah yang disebut sebagai phones gitu. Okay, so let's look at an example. Fonem, oke, ingat kalau bicara tentang fonem berarti pakai slash mark. Tapi phones memakai square bracket. Ini sebagai gambaran. Ketika teh itu muncul di depan sebuah kata, dia akan menjadi aspirated in English, ya. Aspirated meaning that there will be some sort of air coming out in the pronunciation. So it's not tar, yeah, but it's tar. Tar. So you see that in the actual production, there is an aspiration. But that's not the real phoneme. The real phoneme is only teh, ya. Mentally, abstract, secara abstrak itu teh, itu aja. Tapi ketika kita mengucapkannya di depan, maka dia memiliki sebuah aspirasi. So there is some sort of aspiration. And that's why we say that this is the phones, and this is the version of the phoneme teh. And we have this, yeah, teh in the first position, it is aspirated, jadi pakai tanda H gitu, tar. Tapi ketika dia di tengah, di antara dua vowels, dia menjadi flapping. Jadi kalau ingin tahu bagaimana arti simbol-simbol ini, dilihat di IPA chart ya. Di internet, di online itu ada yang saya tunjukkan kemarin, jadi bisa dipencet gitu, and it will show you the type of sounds. Nah, ini tanda flapping. Jadi ketika dia muncul di tengah vowels, tidak lagi menjadi aspirated, tapi menjadi flap. Writer, ya kan, nggak writer gitu kan, nggak ada aspirationnya, tapi lebih ke being flapped. Writer. Nah, kalau yang ini namanya glottal stop, gitu ya. Jadi ini in some dialects in the US ada double T itu menjadi butter gitu ya, butter. So ya. Kenapa jadi Nah, ini hanyalah sebuah phones, sebuah version dari ini. Kemudian kalau yang ini teh dental, ada tanda seperti ini di bawahnya. 8 gitu aja. Tidak diberi aspiration seperti ini, jadi bukan eta atau bukan flap, jadi bukan ada, gitu, aneh ya. So this is just dental. Nah, the set of phones are called allophones, ya. Jadi when we have a set of phones, all of which are versions of one phoneme, we add the prefix allo and call them allophones of that phoneme. Okay, so set of phones are called allophones. Yeah. Now we go to complementary distribution. Oh, by the way, if you have any questions, you can just ask in the middle of my explanation. So now we have what we call as complementary distribution. Complementary distribution is explaining the relation between the allophones. When we have two different pronunciations or two different allophones of a sound, each used in different places in words, they are said to be in complementary distribution. That is, the t pronunciation of the phoneme t with aspiration is used word initially as in tar, but never after another consonant in initial position as in star. The places where t occurs with aspiration and without aspiration never overlap, and so the different pronunciations are in complementary distribution. Ya, jadi ketika distribusinya itu tidak tumpang tindih itu, jadi sudah pasti bahwa fonemnya t, allophonnya aspirated in word initial. Word initial itu di depan kata gitu ya. Okay, just imagine this is word initial. My writing becomes really bad. Okay, word initial. Sementara dia tidak aspirated after consonant, after another consonant. Ya, jadi ini tar becomes aspirated because it is word initial di depan sendiri, tapi ketika dia di tengah setelah konsonan yang lain as in star, this is not aspirated. Oleh karena itu hubungan ini disebut sebagai complementary distribution karena tidak saling tumpang tindih gitu. Now we go to minimal pairs and sets. Yeah. So we can test the phonemic distinctions in a language, and we do that by pairing words together. Untuk mengetes apakah suatu phonemes itu fonemik dalam artian miliki arti yang berbeda dalam sebuah bahasa. Kita memasang-masangkan kata-kata yang hampir mirip, tapi hanya berbeda satu komponen saja. Nah, itu namanya minimal pair. Kemudian a set of minimal pair is called minimal set. This is the example. Yeah. So it's not that difficult, this concept. Ya, minimal pairs itu kalau ada dua kata yang hampir mirip, tapi hanya berbeda satu komponen. Van and van, ini kan hampir sama. Yang berbeda hanya satu konsonan di depan. Jadi posisi komponen yang berbeda itu harus sama. Ya. Bath and math. Math, myth. Kalau yang ini berbeda vowelsnya. Ya, posisi vowelsnya juga berbeda di tengah. Juga sama, yaitu di tengah. Jadi posisinya harus sama, tapi mereka berbeda. Berbeda jenis, gitu, berbeda phonemes. And then you have minimal sets. This is when you have more than one pair. So big, big, rig, fig, dig, rig. Yeah, they're almost the same, just differentiated by one consonant in the front. All right. Now we also have phonotactics. Yeah, phonotactics is the patterns that are permitted in a language. Jadi syllable structure and also sound combination. Karena sound combination itu dalam setiap bahasa itu berbeda-beda ya. Jadi ada yang memperbolehkan nasal in the front, tapi ada bahasa yang tidak memperbolehkan nasal sounds ngeh in the front. So for example, in Indonesian, we have ngantuk, ya. That means we have ngeh, ini tulisannya ya, tapi kalau transkripsi menggunakan IPA itu ngeh seperti ini. Ngantuk. Bunyi ngeh itu bisa diletakkan di depan kata dalam bahasa Indonesia. Tapi dalam bahasa Inggris, kombinasi seperti ini tidak ada ya. So you don't find ngeh in the beginning of a word in English. Why do we have something like this? Yeah, this is this is under the concept of phonotactics. Yeah, phonotactics dealing with the type of sound combinations that are permitted in a language. Once we know phonotactics, then we know what is accidental gaps. Accidental gaps refer to nonsense words observing or obeying the phonotactic rules of English. Jadi kalau accidental gaps itu adalah nonsense words, kata-kata yang bukan kata-kata yang ada dalam kamus gitu. Jadi hanya kata-kata ciptaan, but they look like the actual words because they follow the phonotactics. Karena phonotactics-nya itu cocok gitu ya, seakan-akan dia adalah bahasa Inggris asli, kata-kata dalam bahasa Inggris asli. Bread, itu kata yang asli ya. Jadi ada be, ada kombinasi be, re, kemudian vowels, and another consonant. So you have plosive, a bilabial plosive, followed by a liquid, followed by a vowel, followed by another consonant. This is a good phonotactics. Ya, kemudian phonotactics-nya digunakan untuk membentuk kata yang lain, brand. Ya, almost similar, but it's not. Ya. Jadi phonotactics-nya sudah oke, tapi sebenarnya dia bukan kata asli dalam bahasa Inggris. Nah, itu yang disebut dengan accidental gaps. Ya. Lain dengan yang namanya systematic gaps. Kalau systematic gaps itu adalah nonsense words yang violating the phonotactic rules. Jadi benar-benar tidak cocok seperti ini ya. Ngrum, seperti saya bilang tadi ada nasal, ngeh in the front, that's not English words. That's why ini benar-benar violating, jadi melanggar aturan phonotactics gitu. And they have no potential at all to become English words karena fonotactiknya itu salah. Okay, now we go to syllables. You might know syllable already dalam pelajaran bahasa di SMA mungkin yang sudah dibahas syllable. Syllable itu misalnya kita punya kata bag. Bag ini satu syllable, tapi kalau apa ya misalnya banner, banner itu dua syllable. So the unit ya in a word. Nah, syllable itu punya structure. Structure-nya adalah seperti yang digambarkan pada diagram ini. Ada onset. Onset itu yang depan. Ya, this is onset. Kemudian rhyme. Rhyme itu bagian yang selanjutnya. Nah, rhyme ini bisa dibedakan lagi menjadi nukleus and coda. Jadi dalam contoh ini adalah nukleusnya. Dan yang ini adalah coda. Gitu ya. So, now we look at consonant clusters. Consonant clusters is when the onset or the coda consists of more than one consonant. Jadi kalau dalam satu posisi onset ternyata ada dua konsonannya. Black, gitu ya. In the onset you have two consonants, then this is called as consonant clusters. Ini konsonan cluster atau bukan? Bukan ya, karena ini hanya cara tulisnya. Tapi ketika kita mengucapkannya kan nggak ada clusternya, hanya black gitu aja. So in the coda there is no consonant cluster. Contoh yang di kodanya ada konsonan cluster itu apa? Misalnya start, ya. Start, jelas-jelas di kodanya ini ada 2 konsonan. Jadi ini adalah konsonan cluster. Okay, so you have to look at the actual pronunciation to determine the consonant cluster, not just how it is written. Okay, so this is the last point, co-articulation effects. Yeah, co-articulation effect is what happens when you speak normally, and sometimes you speak fast and spontaneously, right? And that makes certain sound almost the same as the next sound, and that is called co-articulation. Ya, karena kalau kita ngomong kan kadang-kadang itu cepat terus jadinya suara satu suara satu bunyi dan bunyi yang lain itu tumpang tindih. Nah, kita punya yang namanya assimilation. Assimilation itu ketika one aspect of one segment is copied by another. I have to go. I have to go. Ini harusnya kan voice ya, v. I have to go. Tapi kalau kita ngomong cepat nggak mungkin I have to go ya. Ini voice ini menjadi voiceless dipengaruhi to. Itu voiceless, jadi dia mempengaruhi kata yang sebelumnya. Jadi I have to go gitu aja. Ya. Nah ini yang namanya assimilation. Yang berikutnya adalah nasalization. Nasalization adalah ketika bunyi itu menjadi lebih sengau karena pengaruh bunyi yang ada di dekatnya. Jadi sengau, nasal, that happens in the nasal cavity ya, di daerah hidung kita, namanya nasalization. Jadi diberi tanda tilde seperti ini. Jadi contohnya pin and pan, ya, pin and pan. Jadi secara foneticsnya kita bisa jelaskan. N itu kan sengau ya, nah, maka vowelsnya menjadi nasalized. So there is a nasalization here, pinned and pan as well. Yeah, the vowel is influenced by the nasal sound behind, so pan. So ini namanya nasalization. Dan yang kedua adalah elision. Elision ini ketika ada bunyi yang terhapus gitu ya, yang omitted or not being pronounced. Jadi harusnya ada the sound in the word friendship. Tapi enggak semua orang ngomong gitu ya, apalagi kalau ngomongnya cepat. Friendship. So the the is not pronounced. Jadi ini namanya elision. Oke, ini adalah gambarannya. Oops. Have to, harusnya have to ya, voiced, tapi menjadi voiceless. Non-nasal menjadi nasal. Kalau yang ini reduce consonant clusters and reduce syllables. Prisoner harusnya prisoner ya, 3 syllable tapi menjadi 2 syllable. Prisoner. Okay. So now what can we say? We can say that assimilation, nasalization, and elision occur in normal speech, and they are not a sign of sloppiness or laziness. Yeah. When you avoid assimilation, nasalization, and elision, you will have artificial sounding talk, ya, seperti robot ngomongnya, or like AI. Nomor 1 ya, it's like when you are mengantri gitu di bank terus dikasih nomor, itu kan pakai AI ya yang memanggil nomor antrian. Yeah, it sounds really artificial because it doesn't really apply these processes, so that's why it looks really artificial. Okay. All right, so thank you. That's all I can explain about phonology. It seems a lot, but because we are in the introduction to linguistics class, we will move from one focus in linguistics to another, and we need to be quick. Yeah, we have only one meeting to talk about phonology. So please do ask if you have any questions.
Yes, ma'am. I do have some questions.
Yes, who is this?
Arif Swardi, ma'am.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
Question.
okay, so I'm still quite confused about what is it about the phonemes with the slash or with the bracket because when we actually trying to transcribe it, like writing it in some sort and yeah, like writing it, should we actually use the bracket one or the slash one?
Oh, when you write or when you transcribe.
Yes, when I try to transcribe a word to the yeah, to the phonetics stuff. Like, should we
Yeah.
just which one should we use? That's...
Ya, so ada dua ya. Jadi memang transcription sendiri pun itu dibedakan menjadi dua. Dalam artian tergantung kamu mau mentranscribe the actual production or mau mentranscribe the system gitu, the phonology. Jadi ada yang namanya broad and narrow transcription.
So jadi kalau yang broad itu berarti yang pakai slash itu ya, ma'am?
Yeah, wait. Broad is pakai slash ya. So this is called as phonemic transcription. I'm gonna use another way. So broad transcription is called phonemic transcription. That means you do the phonology. So you just use this one. And then on the other side, you also have narrow transcription. Jadi sangat detail gitu maksudnya ya, karena itu namanya narrow. And this is also called phonetic transcription. Oops. And here you use the square brackets. Okay, now mungkin kita bisa praktek ya. Kata apa? What word you have in mind?
Row.
Row.
Yes, ma'am.
Oke. Row itu kayaknya fonetik sama fonemiknya nggak terlalu beda ya. Coba misalnya tar ini dulu ya. Because we already look at this, so it's easier. Jadi kalau kita menggunakan phonemic transcription, ya udah kita transcribe aja apa adanya gitu ya, bunyi apa yang muncul, nggak usah terlalu detail. Pokoknya, oh oke, we have the, and dra. Tapi kalau mau melakukan narrow transcription, you really want to capture as many details as possible in the pronunciation. Then you use different diacritics. Diacritics itu apa ya, detail, tanda-tanda. Nah, itu ada di IPA juga. Jadi ini menjadi tar. Gitu ya. So you see the difference here?
Yes. Berarti kalau yang narrow transcription itu bisa apa namanya? Narrow transcription itu berarti kayak sesuai dengan aksen-aksennya juga ya, Mem? Apa ada kayak hubungan
Yeah.
dengan aksen?
Yes, good. Yes, that's correct. So when you do narrow transcription, it can be very different from one person to another, from one accent to another. Misalnya, oh ini orang Amerika misalnya, this is American accent. Ternyata kalau orang Indonesia nggak ada aspirationnya gitu ya, tar gitu aja. Yeah, so this is how you explain this is Indonesian. And then you can also perhaps look at the word butter. Butter, nah butter itu kalau secara fonemik itu butter, itu butter. Tapi secara fonetik butter. Jadi ada flap yang tadi saya tunjukkan ya. Udah betul belum? Oh, salah. Ternyata kamu mau mentranscribe ada orang Amerika lain yang ternyata nggak di flap, T-nya tetap seperti ini. Gitu. Ya. So with narrow transcription, you can end up having as many versions as possible because it describes the actual production of a specific utterance. Gitu ya. Okay, so
Yes, ma'am.
does that help? Yeah.
Oh
Hopefully
yes,
it
it's very
helps.
helpful, ma'am. Yes, yeah, I can start to understand now. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much,
Okay.
ma'am.
Great, thank you. Now, is there any other question? Okay, I can wait for another question, perhaps. But if you still have some difficulties in understanding all the concepts, of course, you can read the PowerPoint on your own. You can also listen to the explanation one more time, or you can also find different sources in the internet or in a textbook. Yeah. Okay, now if you don't have any other question, then what you have to do is to go to Sipejar, of course, record your attendance, and you can also watch the video again, and there's one assignment. Yeah? So the assignment is pretty simple, tapi ini mendorong kalian untuk berpikir dan mengaplikasikan apa yang sudah dipelajari tadi. Ya, you have 1 week to do that, so relax, you have much time to do it. Yes, I think then, then that's all from me. If you have any questions, you can still drop it in the WhatsApp group. Okay, thank you, everybody. Have a nice day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah.